And so, Chrisana, you mentioned two words, which, funny enough, lead us to a bit of the next section. You mentioned control and boats. So that's exactly where we're going to go. I'm going to start by talking about one of my favorite kind of studies done. It
Mm.
is by the United States Navy, and they were looking at how to staff people on a submarine so that the teams would get along really well. Because if you're under the ocean for long periods of time in a sealed vessel, the chances of conflict go up very high. And so, what can you do to put together folks on the boat, on the submarine, so that they don't kill each other? Uh, they found three elements, and today we're going to talk about one of those three. So, as a little bit of a dangling the carrot, in another episode, we'll probably talk about the other two. Today, we're going to talk about one of the three, which is our need for control.
Mm.
And it's a natural human part of being who we are. On one end of there's two components really to control to think about. And it's again, I'm going to re-emphasize it again and again and again because there can be this thing of like control is bad. Certain kinds of control might not serve us. They might not be adaptive, but control is truly a human part of being human. There's two facets to control. The first is how much we exercise control. So, how much do I direct things? Do I seek to lead things? And it's a spectrum. So, on the low end of the spectrum, I'm really hands off. I'm really only going to be very selective of what I pick and choose to take on. And on the other end is much more of that full kind of micromanagement. I have my hands on everything. I'm doing everything. And there's people can be anywhere between that spectrum from I'm totally hands off. I don't want to touch this to I have to hold on to absolutely everything. And the reason I say it depends on the situation is because even in different businesses, different kinds of control are needed. So if I take, for instance, a startup, when you first start a company, what we've typically seen is that you need to exercise higher levels of control because there's no one there to do the job. So the founder is doing 20 jobs on their own. So they need to know what's happening in those 20 jobs and to execute them. So you need to exercise direction setting and handling things. If you're super hands off in a startup, it's going to be a very tough thing to basically put it into orbit. As the organization matures and you hire people, that same behavior is typically one of the huge sticking points that gets founders and CEOs in trouble. Because the more you hire people, if you continue to micromanage and control things, you're disempowering your people, you're creating cultural clashes, people quit. It becomes its own kind of problem. There's another kind of control, which is the one we don't talk about as much, which is basically how much control I want to be exerted on me from other people, is one way of looking at it. So on the very low end, it's basically back off, do not tell me what to do. I am fully independent. I follow no one. And on the other side of the spectrum, which is the I want high level of control, it is tell me what to do. I need you to tell me what to do. Literally step by step by step by step. And that's another spectrum of control is how much I let the external world into me. So again, I'm either super independent or on the other spectrum, it's super dependent. And of course, there's a sweet middle ground at some point where you can take input from your environment and at times be a follower, but at times be a leader. So these are the two kinds of control, how much I exert control and direct things, how hands on, hands off I am. And the other is how much I am open to direction from others.